Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Eternal Dawn. No, I'm Matt Pat now. No, hello there. Welcome to the Eternal Dawn. I am your captain, Straw Hat Lucas. Joined today with my first mate and vice captain. We got Cube of the Red Sea and NoChillDill.
What up, guys?
Cube. Yeah, take it away.
What up, guys? You know, it's Cube of the Red Sea or Cube of the Red Dawn, as you prefer, like you prefer, guys. You know, I'm still working on that new trademark. Or Big Scoop Cube, as you know, I'm dropping some content on the channel as well as Big Scoop Cube. Go check out my latest reaction of the chapter 1127. So the previous chapter, well, this chapter we're about to talk about after stream. I know you guys love to give support, but after the stream, first you're gonna test it. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I, man. We haven't got to do like a theory crafting prediction stream since the rebrand, so I'm really excited to dig our heels in and try to figure out exactly what's going on in ELBAF. Dill, are you able to give your little introduction?
Yeah. Hey, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Straw Hat Dill in the chat. We here. We ready to theory craft on some ELBAF. You know, some pretty exciting things are expected to happen, but as we all know, we don't cover spoilers on these streams. So be mindful in the chat, everybody.
Yes, I am spoiler free, and if you spoil me, I will cry. There's nothing else. I will just cry.
So give some shout out to Nak, who's on stream, Brandon King, drop your ELBAF prediction yourself, or we'd be love to hear for it. And yes. Henry Cavill, and we've got to say, Henry, we do love the support. Apparently, Henry has been a fan of ours since 1867. So we're a very long time.
Back when we were streaming in Morse code. That was crazy, man. And One Piece had only been going for like 6 years then.
Yes.
Memes aside, welcome to the chat, everyone. It's good to see y'all. Hopefully you got some good ELBAF predictions today. I know that us, the boys here at the Eternal Dawn, have been cooking for the past few weeks about what's going to be going on in ELBAF, and now we get to share it with y'all.
Exactly. Well, we only have 2 chapters, and yes, I know you guys have read spoilers already, but for me, we only have 2 chapters so far into this new arc. Still don't know completely 100% if it's ELBAF or not. But before we get there, let's talk about this Yamato cover story that's been going on for a while. Cube, where do you think this is going?
Okay, so I'm right now, because I went on the wiki, because obviously I don't know how far back it is, and since we're a smaller group today, we can go deep on it. I do feel like it's something to do with world government, because as I read it, what's interesting is some of the names that are in the title, right? So we talked about last time with the last chapter with Yamato and Inuarashi, right? Both being dogs, Daimyo of Curry. But what's interesting is in one of the cover stories, they say Osuru gave me medicine and dumplings, which we know one of the most like prevalent marines that we can't wait to get more on is Suru. So I'm really thinking that it's like something like we know that the world government wanted a foothold in Wano, which is interesting because the first time we actually saw firsthand the world government doing those shenanigans before they jump in was the flashback of Mother Carmel and Big Mom, which was on ELBAF, which we're currently on. So I do feel like it's. Then again, is it Cypherpool? Is it the Gorosei? It could be someone trying to be good with the government as well in Wano. But I do feel like it's like the start of something, which if something happened a long time ago in ELBAF, something happened in God Valley, something happened in Dressrosa, I could see Wano being the next place,
So do I.
Next big place.
I said this in one of my chapter reactions that I'm starting to think that whoever is kidnapping people in Wano, I saw some people saying that it could be Blackbeard's crew, but after having the pudding event happen with Blackbeard's crew, I don't think we're going to get another cover story right after that with Blackbeard's crew in it. But I've started to believe that it's the world government. We've already seen that the minute Kaido fell. Also, shout out John Sherrod on all social medias and our lovable doctor, Smokey Chopper. I almost said Tony Chopper. Both in the chat. Love them both. No top man, mid arc already. Well, we'll have to wait and see, JJ. We'll have to wait and see. But no, I think it's somebody in the government. We saw that they sent Green Bull to Wano like as soon as Kaido fell, so they know they more than likely the world government knows Pluton is there, and I think this is just like the beginning of either gathering people for the next hunting game, like, oh, there's some people from Wano Kuni here. If you take them out, it's worth 15,000 points or whatever. However they do their grotesque point system.
I think it's more than that. I think it's the resources. The more I think about it, like maybe there's a reason why. Think about the God Valley flashback. They didn't have to give us a reason why they went to do God Valley stuff, but they gave us even the reason, which is interesting because usually you never get like the like Alabasta Dressrosa. It was when you were on the island, you went first on it. Like we didn't learn about what Doflamingo was doing at Punk Hazard. We weren't hearing about what was happening in Alabasta, but yet we still haven't seen the full God Valley flashback. And from the perspective of someone who was a child, we got information that they were going after resources. And Wano is known for his resources. That's why Kaido made it his headquarters over there. Even though Flamengo was saying though he cannot do it without it. And Big Mom says she can't do it without the people of ELBAF. So yeah, I'm wondering if it's the resources. They don't have Orochi anymore.
Yeah, they don't have Orochi anymore, and Orochi and Kaido were the ones taking up all of the resources. Now, there's resources to be had, and the world government will most likely try to stake their claim there. I mean, they already kind of did when they sent Green Bull there. Dill, what are your thoughts on the cover story?
Honestly, I have no clue where we go in the cover story other than Yamato being able to walk around Wano and go do whatever they wanted to go do. Like it's like to my mind, the only thing that we can like actually fully get flushed out from the cover story is finding out more and more of who gets kidnapped. I don't think we're going to find out who's doing the kidnapping. I think that's going to be something that Oda gives to us in the actual story as a cut to Wano.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good take on it, actually. I don't think with what I'm saying, and I'm sure with what Kube's saying too, I think it'll be a main reveal in the story, like maybe after Yamato comes back into the story. I still think that this our little cover page story is going to end with Yamato getting on the Cross Guild ship. I was going to do a rambling addiction about that, but I just didn't have enough evidence for it. But as I said, with his journey mirroring Kazuki Oden's, like it makes sense to me that maybe how Kazuki Oden's flashback, it started with him getting on Whitebeard's ship. Maybe with Yamato, it'll be him getting on Buggy's ship, who is kind of Whitebeard or Luffy's Whitebeard. Like if you look at all the Yonko and their relationships, if any of them has that Whitebeard Roger relationship with Luffy, it's Buggy. It's definitely not Teach, and it's definitely not Shakes. Like it's Buggy.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's in this situation, like where the story's going. I feel like Law might have the closest storyline to Whitebeard with everything.
Yeah.
Especially him losing everyone. And literally, Buggy last time we saw Law, well, he disappeared. We know that most likely Zunisha will be to pick up Beppo because Zunisha always finds a lost mink. Like, it could be a thing that this is a way for because I would see the Buggy thing. The problem is that for me, it's not a Buggy problem. It's a Crocodile and Mihawk, which, it's such a pivot completely, which I think we know with Law.
The son of a former Yonko joining your crew, like that just puts you even more on the map. 3-day trip. And don't forget, the wonderful, Yamato's beautiful, awesome navigator of the Eternal Dawn in the chat. Dingo in the chat said, you guys should read the paper Supernatural Abductions in Japanese Folklore. There's different folklore about mountain men and who travel across different planes. That is spicy, especially the different planes thing with how we've seen the Gorosei and the way that they move throughout the world. Also makes me think of, we've talked several times before about like parallel dimensions that devil fruits create. While we're talking about chat though, Brandon King earlier said prediction 1. Enel learns on the moon that he isn't a god and Luffy is. Luffy on ELBAF learns this too at the same time. Double page spread, they both do the Enel face. And I freaking love that, dude. That is
I love that too.
Yeah, I need that to happen, my man. Yeah, guys, drop your predictions for ELBAF in the chat. Like we said, keep it 11/28 spoilers free. Kube and Dill have read them. I am spoiler free, so you know what I mean? Just keep it real. Drop them predictions in the chat, and yeah. Any more on the cover story, boys, or do we want to dive into the meat of ELBAF?
Well,
I
so
won't lie,
I was going to say something on the 11/28 spoilers. If you have read 11/28 spoilers, predict further out. What are you doing? Why are you going to make predictions off of something that you've already read? That's like saying, hey, I'm going to make predictions for chapter 5 of One Piece, you know? I think Buggy's got a claim. That's all I'm saying. You know? Like, you know what's going to happen. Predict something 10 chapters out. Do something that nobody's expecting.
Exactly. That's actually
I
really
will
good
lie,
point.
and also for the whole buggy thing is, for me, I do believe that it's going to be reserved for the Bon Clay storyline that I think is, with parallels, Bon Clay should be returning in the next 2 arcs for me.
I think
I've
he'll
been looking
return on
closely at
ELBAF.
parallel.
Smokey and me were in
Yeah.
DC the other day, and he dropped a bunch of, I can't remember all of it off the top of my head, but he dropped a bunch of evidence towards him coming up in ELBAF. And if, especially like with illusion piece going on right now, as you know, with the hallucinations and stuff, it would make sense for somebody who's able to change their face to show up.
I mean, yeah, but we need to get at least, or else they'll say later on that there was a breakout. But we know that he's still in Impel Down, so Buggy's the best option for that.
Oh, my
He
bad.
promise to come back.
My bad. Yeah, Smokey. Also, he's our emergency food supply / decoy.
Who?
Smokey.
Okay, yeah. But there's also, I've been looking into it, and it's quite interesting. What if also this cover story is telling what happened to Fishman Island? Because people have made connection. People made connection to how the castle of Odin's castle in Flower Capital looks very similar to literally the Fishman Island castle, the palace, if it was on land. Then it starts with underwater stuff, and I'm just thinking, like, what if it's also loosely saying that if Fishman Island was one of the first, like before it used to be on land, then it fell into the sea. What if we're getting close to a storyline based off that as well? If you look at the palace, Odin's castle, and the palace that the Shiroshi and her family lives in, there's some interesting similarities, especially in how the flowers in the Flower Capital that makes this beautiful boat, this beautiful like this arc, like a rainbow arc around in front of it, is very similar to how they do those dragon sculptures, who do the same thing in Fishman Island.
See, I like
this. Weapons.
I like this.
Connectation weapons.
Yeah, I like this train of thought because maybe we're seeing exactly how the persecution against Fishman started, right? Maybe when Joy Boy wasn't there to protect Fishman Island at first, that's how it all began, is people started going missing from Fishman Island. They started becoming Celestial Dragon, it's still early in the stream, servants. And maybe, like I said, that's what we're seeing. They're taking these Wano Kuni residents and being like, you want to spend big dollars on your servant today, Celestial Dragon. Like, here's a special one from Wano Kuni. Like, I like that idea of it paralleling Fishman Island, but I think it's a piece of Fishman Island we haven't seen. And that's the start of the persecution. Oh, you both are muted. What's up, chat?
Sorry. I had to swing through Panera to get some drinks, and I didn't want to dox myself, But no, I could definitely see within like the next 10 chapters, we start to see more and more of what's going on in the world, as well as, like, of course we're gonna get the ELBAF stuff, but we haven't got from the depths of the world, other than through Vegapunk's speech, where we see all the world reacting to it. We don't know what any action is after that. We haven't seen anything of what we saw the people saying, "Oh yeah, let's go claim it. Yeah, let's be the one to do it." We haven't seen any action of that yet, and I think that's something that can be touched upon in the next 10 chapters.
Are you talking about from Blackbeard specifically, or the other Yonko entirely?
One more time.
I said, are you talking about Blackbeard specifically, or like the other Yonkos? Like we'll see little updates about the other Yonkos and how they're all going to claim it.
Oh, I think everyone. I think it's going to be like true from the decks of the world. It's going to be everyone that the Straw Hats have affected. It's going to be people that are in their own race, like not like races in terms of
like
humans, but everyone in the race for the One Piece is all going to be doing their own thing all at separate times. They're all going to converge in one state of mind of we are going to find the One Piece.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that happened at Roger's execution, is everyone came to the state of mind of we're going to go find his treasure.
It's like what Buggy said during his declaration to do it is it's the reason we all went out to sea, and somewhere along the way we've forgotten it. Like it's the dawning of the new era completely.
Yep.
I won't lie, personally, I could see a thing where it's all about the phrasing of it and the marketing behind it, because it would make sense that originally the way it was said, only specific people go after it. Best example is with the ancient weapons, or my take of, I believe, Emerald City that was mentioned by Bellamy, and we got nothing out of it, might be how back then people refer to the island of Laugh-Tale or places like that disappeared. Hence why Bellamy never mentions the island of the One Piece is on, because we know the Laugh-Tale and the One Piece isn't the same thing. They're connected, but it doesn't mean you go to Laugh-Tale that you claim the One Piece, aka the Roger Pirates,
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if right now we're gonna understand that there is certain, like, what if Captain John's treasure, One Piece, Laugh-Tale, it's a spectrum of a much bigger thing, It's like they're just branches of a big tree, and once everyone sees the complete tree, they're gonna say, "Oh shit, we have to go to Laugh-Tale." There's always one. They're focused on something else, not realizing it's all connected. It's starting to make me think because. Yeah, like the polyglyph. It's exactly different pieces, like Lego pieces. We're in Lego piece right now. Like this also would make sense if 800 years ago, Lily and all of them knew that there was a disadvantage, and for some reason Tokyo jumped 800 years in the future. They would have to have said it in a way that not 800 years ago everyone's running for it. Because if you know that Joy Boy, for some reason, it'll only be in 800 years, you have to market it in a way that it's not gonna be spoiled under the 800 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm distracted by chat a little bit. They're cooking in chat right now.
Yeah, I saw that they said that Lucas is a fraud. I didn't like that.
That is exactly, yeah. It was crazy. First, I don't know, right? We're just having a good conversation, and Cube's like, I'm going to slander this man right now. Brandon King started out, said Chopper doesn't see illusions because he didn't drink. So as an inversion, people see the illusion of Chopper as emergency food, like how people see others as food in cartoons when hungry.
So Luffy didn't. Luffy was eating meat in the panel.
Yeah.
In the panel of the Straw Hats, the last one that we got of them as a collective, Luffy and Chopper weren't.
Yeah.
Drinking.
It also gives me it's also a reversal for Drum Island, Alabasta. Remember when they went to town? Zoro was focused on going to one bar. Luffy went to another bar. The girls were shopping, and Chopper would just say, "I'll stay behind. I'm just too hot." And then when Luffy comes out, he tells everyone. So it kind of makes you think also Alabasta, because this was like people have to. We have to take into account there's 6 of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna read some more.
There's
from
6
chat
of them.
Real quick, Cube.
So it makes you think.
Go ahead. Finish your point though.
I was gonna say. So what if in this, at least this trader thing is. Because this was how it was in the first part of Alabasta. Chopper might be the one who's more an advantage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The environment is maybe for him being a child, or him being who he is, or him being his connection to medicine. You never know. Being that naive in a place that if they're Lego pieces, and we saw Dorian Broggy, maybe it's a place that Believer just thrive. It could be. I'm wondering if the first part is a place where Chopper has like more advantages than anyone else.
Yeah, I mean it could be. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Like I said, chat is just cooking right now, and I want to make sure we have the community involved since it is the first cooking stream we've done since the rebrand. Dingo in the chat, ELBAF prediction. We get to see the other side of Madame Charlie's premonition that Luffy will set the island ablaze. Some parallels to Ragnarok. Surtur will be Luffy, and the Rainbow Bridge will be the Red Line. He's the ooh. And then Smokey's cooking on Usopp with the lies, and him and Loki get into a battle of lies with the illusions, which is just perfect. Like we've talked about that several times, man. Paralleled completely.
And I have a perfect analogy. I think that Vivi would definitely make a return because I think one of Vivi's quote to Little Garden is about ELBAF.
Yeah.
I think ELBAF is an island stuck in time. The more I think about it, it's the inspiration is the Gaelish Viking or like Gastronobilis, but still stuff that existed even before the time of Jesus. The fact that there, and if you look at it, look at the people of Zhao, look at people of Wano. There's at least something that's post Jesus era, you know, the end of the Roman Empire. So I'm wondering if Vivi mentioned that in Little Garden when they were just the 5 of them.
Well,
Chopper wasn't recruited then as well.
Yeah, well, think about it, brother. I've said this numerous times. I think that we've seen multiple islands throughout the Grand Line. I know you think this as well, that have been permanently affected by awakened devil fruits. And I think that Little Garden was stuck in time by the slow fruit. My main man, Foxy, I think his fruit affected that island, and that's the way it was able to keep that prehistoric habitat that it has for so long. So I'm 100% on board with that. I think it is a land stuck in time.
I would say more that it doesn't need to be doubtful ability. The best example is you've seen it in many other TV shows, the different franchise. If there's no interaction, like even in our world, those native villages have been found in the last 30 years. What do we see? There is no advancement. They've been like that for centuries. They haven't advanced like we did. So it makes you think that it does like it. Some of them could be like, because my thing is if this happens to the Garden of ELBAF, it has to be some ability. But it could be loosely that it's something like maybe devoid of energy. You know what I mean? Like what if they cut the line? Like I've always predicted, I always felt like Jaya 400 years ago was erased from history, or was basically put on hold. The way Nolan literally brought it back. If you look back at that scene, he kept hearing it, and no one can hear it. Then the storm starts attacking them. You know,
with Jaya, if I could add real quick, we've talked about this several times recently, where it was the last stronghold in the war against the ancient kingdom. Like it's the last known battle of the. So them being closed off and not progressing with the rest of society makes 100% sense. And I love the idea of Nolan being the one to bring them back into like a more modern age.
Yeah. Just to finish my point exactly. So this makes you think of it. You don't need to have Foxy's fruit. I think Foxy's fruit could be a byproduct of that, definitely, or trying to revert it as well. You know, because maybe Foxy's fruit has a natural ability to go to certain places. You know, because I'm wondering, you know, if it's like if places are like maybe those environment are also different. Like maybe Foxy, we know that with certain devil fruits, they sense certain stuff. So Foxy's fruit might have an easiness with those kind of places. But yeah, it makes you think of this is what Vivi was talking about, and it was talking about ELBAF. She was saying there are places stuck in time, and then the next scene, what do? They meet the giants.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Otis foreshadowing in Little Garden that the land of the giants is just stuck in time. They haven't evolved over 1,000 years.
Well, what if it's not that they're stuck in time, but what if it's more like preserved? You know what I mean? Like not purposely. It's just because the culture was untampered with by the world government, because the giants aren't idiots. They know how the world works, like in the modern era. But maybe they've kept their home almost pure of that influence, that outside influence.
That's what I was going to bring up. It's not so much that they're like forcibly stuck in their ways. It's that they're choosing to not advance with the rest of the world because they were around. They saw what happened whenever the world got too advanced.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Awesome. But that's the beauty of it. What's the difference between preserve and being stuck in time?
Choice.
One is by choice and one isn't by choice. It could be the spectrum of it. Some islands decide to preserve themselves like Wano or Fishman Island. Or Fishman Island could be a mixture of both. They preserve themselves, don't interact with people, but also something happens from the world government that makes them stuck in time, you know? We don't want anyone to interact with you. So what's the best thing is that they're in a state where, to the point that they're so stuck that they don't even go travel. But we know in Wano, they made it a rule never to leave Wano, never to accept outsiders. Yeah. So it could be, the spectrum of stuck in preservation.
Yeah. It could. I agree. It's definitely a spectrum. I'm gonna go back to chat just for a moment, Cube. BK, another idea. The different Straw Hats all get sent to different fictional realms. Luffy gets into a Dragon Ball like world. Nami gets into the Wizard of Oz. Usopp, Tom Sawyer, Brooke, Nightmare Before Christmas. I like that. I don't know if Oda would do it, but I like the idea of them being in the different realms. I don't know if it'll necessarily be fictional realms, but because I said this in my Rambling Addiction prediction video. Rambling Addiction prediction is fun to say. I'm not gonna lie, but in that video that I just dropped about 3 hours ago, go check it out on the channel. Promo whatnot. But I said that I think that Luffy and them right now, or Luffy quote unquote, and them are on Asgard, and that the Lego pieces and stuff are it's Loki's realm, right? If he's the fake sun god, which another something I said in Rambling Addiction is that I think that he's the fake sun god. Either way, that he's making Asgard in his image. He's the king of ELBAF. This is his realm. He wants to make it more free, more playful, and things like that. But Will, you brought up absinthe made with herbs and chlorophyll. What if drink is made from green blood and chlorophyll of Yggdrasil, and it puts you in a dream world or illusion to be manipulated? What if it's a test? After you said that, it makes me think, what if it's a test to see if the Straw Hats are worthy enough to be on ELBAF? What if this is something every pirate crew that lands on ELBAF and wanting to be aligned with them has to do?
Well, ooh. Oh, then I have something for you guys.
Oh yeah, spit it, dude.
Okay, so I've been looking into it because the way you said it, it could be they could be separated the way you're saying, just like a little garden in 3 cells. Sanji with his own thing, Zoro and Nami. Well, Nami at one point she was with Usopp, but Luffy and Usopp most of the time were separated.
Yeah.
And I just
Luffy
looked.
was with Vivi, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, with Vivi, and then Nami and Vivi met up each other, whereas with Zoro being basically Sanji and Zoro were going different ways. Then there were 4 groups, and then they merged into 3 groups because Sanji stayed by himself, but the other ones joined the other 2 groups. But Sanji stayed by himself. I looked up. The little garden is 9th arc. ELBAF is the 9th island that the Straw Hat visit. Because you have to take into account that Zhao and German Kingdom that they were on is an island as well. So I just looked at on the wiki. ELBAF would be considered the 9th island. So yeah.
Island in the New World.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously going to the New World. Yeah, going to the New World. I looked at it. Greenbit is also considered as his own island as well. So that's why it's 9 as well.
So listen, dude, that fits into Oda's themes of 3 as well, right? So 9 for Little Garden, 9 for ELBAF, and then 9 realms as well. Math.
Look at Lucas Heim. Yeah, that's your new name as captain during this arc. You'll be called Lucas Heim.
Lucas Heim, I'm in.
Yeah.
Strawheim Lucas.
Yep.
Strawhelm Lucas. There we go. But Smokey, again, dude, why are you not just jump in stream, bro? You cooking in the chat. Get in here. Smokey, you brought up the Hukaku sovereignty. I fucking cannot. I've not been able to say that word recently. I don't know why. But I brought that up. Me, Smokey, and Cube had like an hour and a half, almost 2 hour long video or discussion one day about Usopp and Nami and ELBAF, and so many amazing takes came from that.
I've been calling this ever since before we were even TLA, when I saw Kaido and Big Mom do it, which I've always said. If you look at some of the cover arts, the only Straw Hats who have the same cover arts as either Kaido or Big Mom has always been Nami and Usopp.
Yeah, and then there's one more thing from chat real quick that I have to bring up, and it's Smokey and Brandon King. They brought up the golden lyre, because Smokey was like, do you think we'll see a golden bell type item, like an instrument, a golden instrument? And Brandon King brought up the golden lyre, which could... It's an instrument, and it's golden. And Usopp's there. The best lyre. The greatest lyre. Yes, sir, the 9-piece. Smokey, see, you are already on it, my man. Oh, Smokey's going to pop in.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I typed in the chat. I prefer it with a biscuit.
Yep. Oh, that's good. That's golden. So let's get into this then, man. Like, with Usopp and Nami, I think I said it in Rambling Addiction Man. I think it's integral that they're going to have some really, really big plot points in ELBAF. I also think Frankie's going to get some plot points, but that could just be my bias towards him. But Lilith is with the Straw Hats, and we need that interaction between Frankie and Vegapunk that we did not get in Egghead.
I won't lie. I think it's going to go in the later part of. I think when Lilith will be back with them.
Yeah.
With parallels wise, it would be after the. Remember, if this stretches will go up to maybe Alabasta, Frankie becomes a thing after that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it, and Vegapunk is also mentioned around the same time. Started being mentioned around the same time, so I could see like the Frankie lore maybe being kept thing. So I could see mostly not other than Luffy. I could see that there might be certain small storylines for Chopper, Nami, and Usopp, which is maybe Oda's way of dealing with the Power Trio.
Yeah,
because he has to do something with them. What's up,
real
Smokey?
quick, yeah, let's introduce the Doctor of the Eternal Dawn, one of my closest friends, the man, the myth, the legend, the lover of white women and weed, Smokey Chopper, Grand Line Bound, baby, let's go.
What an intro, baby. I don't need nothing more than that. So let's go. I had to jump in for a little bit.
Yeah, we're a perfect time, too, because guess what? We're talking about, crew moments, basically, in ELBAF that we're looking forward to. I just brought up, Frankie and Vegapunk having a moment now that Lilith's with the crew. And Kube said that, he thinks it's going to happen once the crew completely reunites. And, it'll be something later in the arc. Which I agree with. I think that is definitely the case. I think it'll be saved towards the end of the arc when we're doing. I don't even think I'm not going to say in the come down of the arc after the climax, but probably right before the climax of the arc.
Dude, yeah, I like
Smokey, spit some of these takes on Usopp and Nami, my man.
that.
I think
Dude, I got a million of them. Okay, so you guys ready?
Always.
Okay. Lucas, you already know about my Nami and Usopp learning Hakaku sovereignty. Usopp's gonna learn something in this arc. It's either gonna be the Hakaku sovereignty, it's gonna be him picking up Mjolnir. I even said this might be a meme take, but this might be actually happening where he could use Luffy as a rubber band of doom or him as a slingshot. They might do a combo attack. Usopp's gonna have a moment in ELBAF. And if not, we're going to riot. I'm going to riot. Okay? That's my first take. We're talking about crew moments. So I said Usopp. Nami, 3-Day said it too. 3-Day had a good little prediction. She said, this is going to be a Nami-centric arc, not Usopp. And I was like, oh, that's spicy.
What do you mean, dude?
Spicy.
I've been saying it for 2 years, ever since TLA.
Yeah, Cube and 3-Day both have spit so hard about ELBAF being a Nami-centric arc, and I just think it makes so much sense. If we're trying to wrap up the stories in the series, right, and we still have X amount of Straw Hats that we need to touch on, fitting 2 of them and making it a dual major arc for both of them, that's the way to fucking do it. Yeah. Almost 40 minutes into stream before I dropped an F-bomb. Let's go, guys.
There is
also a fun fact, guys.
I don't know about Cube ever saying anything about Nami's arc being ELBAF, but I have heard 3-Day talk about it.
It's the whole discussion. If you want, it's also the Nami Mega Theory that's been put on hold for the last 2 years and a half. It's literally written on it as well on the script.
I said, I think it's going to be both of them.
I've read 3-Day's post about it, but I haven't seen anything from you, Q. That's what I'm saying.
It's the first script that we have in our drive when we were TLA. It was the first script.
I'm about to pull the Trump card out on this.
I pulled out the Trump card. Welcome in 3-Day. Would you like to spit on Nami?
I just think it has to be something to do with their names both being spelled backwards, and plus the Nami Sami theory I had. I just think they're going to be closely connected to the giants. Maybe the only human group ever allowed to support the giants. They don't like it, basically.
I like it a lot.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
Also,
we need some Nami juice in our lives.
Also,
You
fun
know.
fact, Usopp is, and I'm pretty sure Nami as well. Usopp and Nami are the only Straw Hats who've never seen Kaido or either Kaido or Big Mom doing Hikaku Sovereignty. They were always somewhere else.
Here's my thing. Look at so
Which
here's
is
also what I want to touch on. Lucas, remember we were talking about like how I think ELBAF is going to be the island of illusions and
Mhm.
like lies, right? 'Cause Usopp, you got Loki, God of Mischief. I think Katarina Duvon might come into play. Bond Clay, and then you got Nami. People forget about Nami. Remember her Mirage tempo. Like
Ooh.
we're gonna see a lot of it. It's gonna be like the whole who could tell the best lie. You know what I mean? It's gonna be so beautiful. And it's coming like the giant minute play because remember we were talking like they're kind of like the Tatatas where they're not as gullible, but they're very honor based.
Yes.
And right, so that I think that's gonna come into play too. And Usopp's gonna come and save the day because it's gonna be like I think he's gonna get ostracized somehow. Where
Yeah.
Loki's gonna spin it on like something's gonna happen to some important giant or something like that, somebody important. And not only the Straw Hats are gonna get blamed, but Usopp's gonna get blamed for it. And maybe like somehow maybe Oda might do a betrayal like that where we kind of finally see a betrayal even then, even though we know it's not somebody's gonna get blamed for something. Like I don't know. I
I
love it.
love that.
so.
So do I.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Cube.
I was gonna say, with all of that, I can see that completely because I've been saying this, not just Zoro, but some Straw Hats sometimes will still without the vibe of black for betrayal. That in sometimes on some of the artwork, which is Oda's way of saying that. Best example is Corazon was shown that way, Kanjuro was shown that way. It was the colors introduced in the parallel this arc, which is Little Garden, the black of betrayal. So I see completely like this storyline, and the word is they're extremely naive. They're not gullible, they're naive because it just took the world gone to tell them, oh yeah, we've got Rain Broggy in our jail cell without even seeing it to stay almost 100
Exactly.
years. Yeah, so yeah,
Mhm.
extremely naive.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
And-
that's why I brought that up in Rambling Addiction as well.
And also, oh,
I
right.
like the part you brought up about her having the tempo, and that makes me think, okay, Nick is connected to ELBAF and the Drums of Liberation, and what does music have? Tempo. And Nami always
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What is
as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the point I'll say it here. One of the point I wanted to add to the script for the Nami thing is basically I believe that literally Nami hears music. It's based on the color winds of Pocahontas. She hears the color of the winds. She hears the actual thing, and that's why I believe that this arc it will parallel specifically what we're looking for between Whiskey Peak to Jaya, the return of Dials in the story, specifically Nami and Usopp, bringing that back up. Because
Yeah,
if
so
you
do you
look
think
back,
That's
I've been
how she predicts the
just-
weather. If she can hear the winds changing.
right? Did you guys hear about like? There's a thing about they said like if you record storms, they have a melody to them, and she is
Yeah.
the queen of storms. So you guys can be you guys are
Yeah.
cooking right now. Like
If,
hella.
I've been rereading a bit of Drum Island. I haven't got back to Drum a bit of Skypiea at the same time, but I've been rereading, as Lucas knows, from Twin Cape to Drum Island, a bit of Little Garden, and with a bit of Skypiea. And I think it does connect to that. The best example is remember that motorcycle that she was using in the Skylands?
The waiver.
And she's
The
the waiver.
waiver.
And even he said you're a natural in it. It's because I think it connects to how she hears the weather. She's able to understand the flow, so she doesn't fall off. Basically, it's how
You-
good she is. And I
you
think
know,
connects
she-
back. So I think, I can see Dallas coming back as well.
Yeah,
with both
she
of
may
them.
also be able to just like feel it as well. Because it seems like hockey, like we've touched on this a little bit before, that it seems to mirror the senses a little bit, right? Like
Instinct.
sight,
You have
Yeah,
navigation
instinct.
hockey.
that navigation
what?
hockey, yeah.
But think about it. Who else? I know that one of them in the magazine was explained in her side story that Oda has written, and another person has that Smokey has talked about a year ago about it is both Brooke and Robin. Robin was in a One Piece magazine talking about how she understands languages, and they both refer to their craft as ever since they're born, they've had this feeling.
Mhm.
Nami, because of those feelings, Robin, she's able to understand other languages are not poneglyph. No, like they're similar but different definition. But she could understand the sense of the words, how they change, And Brooke says he can hear every sound, even the invisible sound that Smokey made a short a year ago about it with his disco piece. And he was saying how Brooke has the ability to even hear sound that no one can hear because he has a feeling for it. I say Nami's the same thing for the weather. She can literally hear the wind singing to her.
And that's probably why her village or her home was wiped out. It probably has something to do with her and what she was born with.
Yeah. I can see that. Then it also fits with the what's called her backstory if you read about it. Arlong even states it. There was something about what Nami said about the stuff, and then you look at the next person who praises, who doubles down on what Arlong says, and now both have huge egos. And then the scholar even says that her gift surpasses even anything that he's seen, and she could put the world into chaos. And Lucas brought it up, Smokey brought it up, Ragnarok. What is Ragnarok? That literally the way he talks about it, like she can literally bring Ragnarok to this world, or she can stop Ragnarok. That's how I feel like it.
Ooh.
Yeah, she'll be key then.
Oh, dude, I've been waiting for this for like 20 years. Nami's been this obsession of mine. Not just because she's my waifu, but also because, dude, she's been weird for 20 years. No one can explain to me how she's able to sense stuff like that. But yeah. I do have a question for you all.
Yeah.
With everything happening with the Giants, right? And you guys been spitting, like all of you have been spitting about you think that Vivi will return in ELBAF, right? And it's a thought I had the other day. It's been the way they explain that if there's one nation, one country that literally does not mess with the world government, I almost dropped an F-bomb. Is ELBAF, right? You remember ELBAF, right? So my question is this. What would happen if Wapol and Vivi, both known kings of a reverie, appear in ELBAF? I'm wondering if there's this, and this is like an island of warriors. My question is this: do you think that Vivi's identity might be a risk if she comes to ELBAF, being an Nefertari?
Well, we were just talking, like Smokey had just brought up about a betrayal. Maybe that's the betrayal the Straw Hats will have against the Giant. Is Vivi and Wapol will show up and they'll obviously side with Vivi and be like, "Yeah, we're here to help you." And the Giants are like, "No, these are royals from the world government. We have to get them out of here," kind of thing. That could be the tension that starts.
Yeah. And we know that Vivi was, remember, not both Vivi, also that Zoro, Vivi, and Nami were on that wedding candlestick or whatever that Mr. Sri did.
Yeah.
And they were about to, be turned. So yeah. So I'm wondering if Vivi might be a risk for them. What's your thoughts, guys, about that?
I really hope they'll show up. I think that Vivi and Morgans and all them somehow will end up showing up at ELBAF or something like that. It may be a wedding type thing. And maybe Loki will go after Nami.
Ooh.
I can see that.
Did get a... Kube is going to hate me for saying this. We did get a parallel with Nami being a kidnapped bride before Kube. Do you know where we got that?
And
oh yes. It's
and Lola's connected to Nami. Lola's Loki.
I remember the place that was destroyed by the Mother Flame, the arc that was destroyed by the Mother's Flame. The arc post I call the post Ennis Lobby arc, yeah.
The post Ennis Lobby arc is crazy. Yes, Thriller Bark. But yeah, you're right, 3-Day. I didn't even think of it at that point too. Lola is also connected with Loki. So I think you're right on something there.
Well, they were both brides there, or wanted to be brides. She wanted to be a bride.
Yeah.
This is what
reversed in ELBAF. Nami would I don't know if it'd be reversed actually, now I think about it, but
also I've said this. I think that if a king has a parallel Loki, I think the closest king we'll have, he'll be a king similar to Wapol. All about being spoiled.
Oh, that's
all about himself. So,
I think Loki is childish, man. I straight think he's childish.
And Wapol was the first person that was introduced as, even though he was a human, they showed him to be more beast-like. I think it's a reversal. He's supposed to be this beast, but he is the most I'm not gonna say human, but more more fragile than the rest, But if everyone's supposed to be like Usopp and ELBAF, who's everyone like supposed to be Loki or some, Luffy energy. I think that Loki is faking like Usopp. There's like Thriller Bark. Oh, I've lived in depression, so negativity doesn't affect me. What if same thing with Loki?
Yeah.
Wappo was also very similar, acting big, but he was a big coward.
This goes into something that Smokey had been spitting on a while ago. While he's muted up, I got him. It's that Loki will be very arrogant and very much I am this hero and stuff. And I said this in Rambling Addiction, and I think it mirrors exactly what Smokey was saying too, is that, with Loki potentially mimicking the sun god, like that tells me right there that you're onto something completely. Like he's very childish. I lost my train of thought a little bit here. But he's very boisterous.
Yeah, no.
He's giant.
Yeah, and I'll double on what you and Smokey are saying. This is what I said last week, or I said in my review at least. So check it out, the review that me and Nag dropped yesterday. After the stream, guys, I don't want any you guys watching now the review. I talked about how what is it called again? Oh, I have a. Oh shoot! I have a brain fart. I was trying to make sure no one's gonna watch it now, and
back to back.
But
Well,
no,
anyways,
it's yeah.
Loki and Usopp relation is what Lucas was talking about. And
No, I remember it. We never got the reason, and that's very important. And I went to look back. The Giants knew why they were leaving 100 years ago, but they were told not to interrupt because they have to do it, and they took it seriously. Omoikachi, during that time, had to find Ryan Bragi. They never explained why. I think we're getting the reasons now. I think they were the first to realize something was happening in ELBAF. Maybe someone claiming to be the sun god, and they're that much in the lore that they said, "Oh, wait a minute." They're naive, not gullible. You know what I mean? So maybe at first they got tricked, and then we have to get our captains. They might able to set things right and find them until because why would they break rituals? So I think that's a breadcrumb that we gotta put pre-time skip for this event.
And maybe, listen, hear me out, brother. Maybe they've already challenged Loki, and they're like, and no one believed them, so they're like, okay, we'll find the real sun god, and then Luffy's bounty poster shows up, right? So they're like, oh, that's it. Like, oh, I like that. I have to get on this real fast, and then we'll get right back to this. So Straw Hat Koofy in the chat, my man, hit the nail on the head. He said Thriller Bark, Absalom/Loki, the cat. The lion's face on Absalom. We just saw a line in the last chapter. I think that's Loki. I'm gonna stick to that prediction. I have said it like several times. I said it in Rambling Addiction. I think the cat is Loki, and I think Koofy just gave me one of the biggest pieces of evidence for it. Like that is.
That also could parallel that actually parallels also Drum Island with Wappo. Wappo was the first thing that they dealt with from Drum Island. Remember? Before they arrived there, he was on the ship, and they ate part of his ship, their ship. So yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I'll say this: I think even the type of cat he'll be based on might be the Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland. There've been a lot of Alice in Wonderland tropes in the last 2-3 chapters.
Yeah, and then what do you mean by 3? There's only been 2 chapters to ELBAF. What do you mean 3? Never mind. Don't send me down the spoiler way.
No. I'm talking about the pre ones where we were already getting hints of something. Maybe it's just 2. Oh, I thought it was 3.
We turned on ELBAF for not even 2 full chapters because it was just the end of the chapter previously and then last chapter.
The wiki's considering 1126, the first chapter of the new arc.
Okay, that's right.
But 1128 hasn't come out yet, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought it started a chapter before that.
Anyway, Desmus the Dwarf posted a theory on Twitter about the Cheshire Cat fruit as well, and it's interesting. I'm not gonna lie, especially obviously Oda is a massive Disney fan. He stated this several times. Like, I don't see why he wouldn't want to bring in the classics like that. You know what I mean? And it makes sense. But my only thing is if it only like allows him to shapeshift, so like say he is the cat and it only allows him to shapeshift, that's kind of redundant to Katarina Devon's power and a little bit Bon Clay's power. If it's just a shape-shifting fruit, so I think it has to be able to. Maybe it's an awakened paramecia, and it allows him to affect things around him, or it would be his own because of the Cheshire Cat. I don't know. It's definitely weird. Whatever it is.
Or it's just an illusion fruit, like straight up in base, like the illusion of me, because Von Clay's is the clone fruit, Katarina Devon's is the kitsune, so it could just be the illusion fruit.
Could be.
Yeah.
Like-
Also, it could also be like I think it might most likely be an illusion fruit because its main ability is to be visible and invisible at will. I'm actually reading from the original book right now. The powers. It's basically he has a cat noble for his broad grin and his ability to disappear and reappear at will, based on the 1865 novel Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, so I can see that being similar.
If it's a paramecia type that allows them to like create illusions, though, that would go with what I was just saying about it being an awakened paramecia type. If he's affecting the area around him as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it could be an environmental manipulation style paramecia, which wouldn't require it to be an awakened. But if it's a body manipulation that awakens to be an environmental manipulation, that would be it being awakened. Because whenever you awaken a paramecia, it can take on the properties of another style of paramecia, which would give the body manipulation as well as environmental.
And listen,
Also,
that ties back to Absalom as well, because Absalom could what? Disappear and reappear at will.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, what if it's a mixture of? That's what I'm wondering. What if it's a mixture of Mr. Sree's ability a bit in a way as well on how remember how he made it, because that was one of the first Delphi we thought it was a Logia, in which he made it like so mass. Then we realized he's just generating everything himself to the point that he can make his own ship a wax ship, which is crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, there was something else. If Absalom is Loki, does that mean that there will be a bigger villain to ELBAF than Loki? Enel? Maybe Shiki?
So in terms of like the bigger villain other than Absalom, it was Moria, but also there was an underlying tone
Threat as
of
well,
it that was brought about by Moria, but wasn't directly Moria himself, which was being forgotten, which was not being able to embrace the sunlight, because if you do, your body gets destroyed because
you're right.
So if the illusions get brought to light, do they get destroyed?
Yo, hold up. 3-day. You just dropped something in chat that blew my mind. But yeah, like maybe that there will be a factor on that too, though, Dill. Like I'm not going to ignore what you said. Like I think that there will be some kind of threat like that. Like maybe the moonlight to be like a reverse pillar or something like that, though. A very big thematic element of you will be erased. Like there's no other way around it. But 3-day, you said that it could be like rune magic from Onigashima. What is huge in Norse mythology and will of fire has been spitting on this too is runes, man. Like what if that is the case? What if the symbols we saw like on the flags and stuff were just runes? Like they weren't runic symbols, but like what if it's Kube is gonna love this. What if it's like Miss Golden Week? What if that is a power that the giants have, is to use color to
No, I would say that's mostly what Loki says, because you have to look back at what Oda says in SBS to describe it, and it's the way he says it. Miss Golden Week, Marianne, have a lack of physical strength, so she makes it up with an ability based off her desire, which I think this is what Loki is. Loki is not as strong as those giants, but his mind is much better. Maybe his fruit helps him with that, so he's able to be number one by them thinking that he's stronger than them. In a world where what you believe becomes reality, if you think you're going to lose and he's stronger than you, it does happen in the world of One Piece. What if that's the reason why Dorian Broggy, if they challenged at one point, they lost? Because they were so naive, they believed everything they were seeing. Best example is, if you believe that you're going to get slapped, you're going to feel the slap, right? Just like Luffy believes that he's going to get hit by Nami, he feels the pain, even though he's not supposed to. And she does have conqueror's haki.
or you'll like wince before it even happens.
Yeah. So imagine if
Also,
them.
that
Yeah,
got
go
kind
down.
of counted. Last chapter was Usopp's like, "I'm not afraid of you. You're just an illusion," and then still got slapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
then
exactly
the
like
thing-
that's exactly what you were just talking about, Kube. That's wild, actually.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if there might be a thing like there's a which also makes me think very interesting because we talked about Wapol, we're talking about Moria, and we're talking about what's it called Mr. Shipwright, right? Those 3 arcs: Thriller Bark, Drum Island, and Little Garden. What's the one thing common with all those 3 arcs? The main villains actually use someone else as their main fight. Moria used Ors, Mr. Shipwright used the giants to get his way, and Wapol used his henchmen, even fused them together.
Yeah.
So there's this thing. It's not like Kaido or Big Mom. They didn't do the. They didn't do the. They didn't get to do the. Just Will wrote something very funny. He got
Yeah,
slapped, not whoop slapped.
Yeah, like,
Sorry, that's why I started laughing. That's why I started
know,
laughing.
I saw it too. That's so good, Will.
You know what's also very interesting when you think about all of that is it makes me think that, especially in those arcs, Usopp, Nami, and Chopper have definitely had their interesting storylines. Nami being so to be forced to be a bride, at the same time she was made to be sick, waking up a bed. Usopp getting the whole lore of the giants of ELBAF, learning all their stories, to the point that he becomes against Luffy on some things. No, I'm on his side. You don't understand. Pop, pop, pop. While Luffy did take it, but he didn't take it seriously. Usopp took it seriously. So yeah. And obviously Chopper with his backstory and Wapol.
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
actually
it's a nice call.
Chopper's backstory makes me. I think it'll be kind of a parallel with because Luffy. I realized this recently. I know I've said it to you before. Is that Luffy completed Chopper's mentor's dream for him so that he wouldn't have any unfinished business on Drum Island, right?
Yeah.
He made it. The cherry blossoms bloom in winter. I think that's kind of some evidence to Usopp and maybe even Nami being able to see the full scope of her dream, but Usopp definitely accepting that he is a brave warrior of the sea and achieving his dream.
Actually, yeah, it would make sense. I think because this is the one thing missing for them to be a Yonko crew, I won't lie. All the rest have to do things, but the guys have to start, because I believe Chopper, Usopp, and Nami, the reason why they're coward is because they make themselves as cowards. They're scared before the fight happens. I'm sorry, if you're able to fight next to Big Mom in Wano, why does a cat scare you? I'm talking to Nami.
Yeah.
If you're able to have Izo from the Whitebeard Pirates saying, "God Usopp," after seeing his skills, I'm gonna back you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, entirely, my man. And I said that in Rambling Addiction as well, is that Usopp and Nami getting stronger together it's the logical step. And I also brought up the Yonko Commander point. Like, I can't think of one Yonko Commander that 1v1 Usopp or Nami might be able to take down. Usopp, maybe if he taps into his observation hockey, like fully, but I'm talking solo. But if they work together, I guarantee they can take down. And even if they, especially if they get a power up in ELBAF, I think they could easily take down, at least face a Yonko Zoro style if they work together. Yeah, give them the Hikaku sovereignty. Like,
And I also find it very interesting recently with NAC. I looked at how their time skip adventures, their islands, they seem to connect all 3 of them to some form of message. Like maybe it's hitting to ELBAF. The Torino Kingdom tree, the island itself, looks just like the Idaho tree. Or you know, or might be closer to what the Adam tree will look like when they'll see it. Then it goes up almost to this, high in the air, right? Then Nami's island is in the sky, and then Usopp's island has the same like land features as Torino Kingdom.
Yeah,
the Boeing Archipelago. So I'm wondering if Oda hinted something there.
With a bunch of giant food.
Yeah. And Usopp getting really fat and massive, and then lowering it down. which I can see.
Yeah.
Plus, with the Sami stuff that the Viking and the Sami stuff that Street is talking about, I wouldn't be shocked, especially with the dials, that this will be a massive arc, which I think the first part might actually be on them, and then we get the and you brought up Solo Bark, right? Don't you find it interesting that before they arrive at Solo Bark, a certain Shishibukai cyber called Kuma came to Seymour to warn them about them arriving?
Yeah.
Who was they with before they left? Kuma on the ship.
Yep.
Look at Lucas. I'm just sorry. I'm just messing with that. Took you by surprise. Sorry.
No, yeah.
Oh, wait.
3-Day in the chat had said something about the Lego house being a labyrinth. I think we're going to see a Lego labyrinth. I mean, that's every kid who's ever played with Lego has made a maze out of Lego, and we're like, my action figures are going to go through this. It's
I can even.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will name it. If that Lego house or that labyrinth, it is Loki's, like Lucas says, I'm gonna say this. I'm sure Loki might use a term like, "This is my little garden."
Oof.
His own little garden. His playhouse.
Well, I said that if the cat isn't Loki himself, and it's just the cat and the hedgehog and maybe some other animals there, I think it's like his little house he built for specifically his pets. Because there was another animal that was mentioned, the bunny, which I'm sure Bushido saw the bunny mentioned and was like, a carrot! But, the rabbit was mentioned, and I think that was also one of his pets. And maybe all of his pets are also considered gods because they are the pets of the sun god.
Yeah. We're talking about animals, and especially in Little Garden, I've been reading, there's a lot of interesting animals. I'm wondering if we're going to get lore about dials. And dials and what's it called? And Den Mushies. Because the one animal that they also found, the one creature other than the dinosaur birds and the normal dinosaurs, they found an ancient ammonite, which is an ancient snail.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I'm wondering if in ELBAF we're going to get a whole lore on the whole either dials or Den Mushies.
Weren't dials, though, weren't they specific to the White Sea?
Yeah. You could find certain dials in the Blue Sea, but they're specific on the White Sea, so it could be a spectrum. What's the difference? Because I've said this. The only difference if you look between a dial and a Den Mushi is one has a living thing inside it, and one is used as a weapon.
Yeah.
Brook had a tone dial and never went to the White Sea.
He did. He went through the Grand Line. So to get a dial, he had to have gone to Skypiea, right?
Never went to the Sky Islands. But they had a tone.
That's true.
Ace never went to the Sky Islands, but they had a flame dial.
True.
There's dials that are down on the Blue Seas, but some dials only work on the White Seas.
Yeah, like the Milky dials. It's sort of like the Milky dials that have specific purpose, which is it has to be with power blunt. It has to be about the power blunt. I think there's a certain level of power blunt that you need for certain dials to work.
Because Vegapunk made it possible. Like he used the same White Sea dials, like the White Road dials or whatever they were called, Milky Road dials or whatever it was that made like solid clouds. Do you think that Vegapunk derived the same technology from dials, or do you think he just used the pyrobloid itself?
I think he used the pyrobloid itself.
Yeah.
He made artificial sky clouds through that method instead of having them be waver. Like I think they're just called cloud dials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To get us back on topic, actually, what do you guys think about Rouge showing up in ELBAF? Like, we think that's going down?
Yeah, definitely.
I like it because he's the only one we haven't gotten exposition of other than in passing.
Yeah. I'm thinking the High West may connect almost directly to Burka. And so, like, a reason for him to go back would be to go to the remains of Burka after Enel destroyed. Because did he wipe out the entire island? Did he Lelucia it? That's what I thought.
He Lelucia'd it within minutes upon eating his fruit.
Yeah.
My man
Which
is
I still
talented.
believe. I still believe there's more storyline behind it. Like there was a reason behind it. It's not just he
Oh yeah.
he woke. Yeah, he woke up. It kind of makes you think that, especially that ever since I've heard that take of what if the reason why he doesn't have any wings is that he used to be an enslaved sky person. Because the only time we saw sky people in the blue sea without wings were the ones from the auction house that just had been freed up by Rayleigh.
They didn't have wings?
Yeah, so someone brought it up. There's a famous Reddit post. Me and Will saw it like a couple months ago, and basically, if you look at the anime, they're mentioned in the manga as the sky people, but you see they don't have no wings. It could be a mistake, but I do think that type of thing, Oda would make sure that it's not a mistake. There was none of them that had wings, and some of them, the only ones we can see their back, were 3 of them. That one of them looked like a sky person.
I've always had the mindset of Enel lost his wings in the same way in like actual like biblical lore. Lucifer had his wings taken from him because he was a fallen angel.
Yeah.
It was Enel did something on Burka for them to say you are no longer a Birkin, and they took his wings from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he took his own wings and replaced them with those drums. Maybe he learned of the drums of liberation.
It's possible, but
Possibly.
it would be a next level of denouncing your own birthplace of that line to be like, yeah, I'm gonna take my own wings because I don't acknowledge you guys as my group.
Yeah.
That's why to me I've always related it to he did something to Burka which caused them to take his wings, which caused him to retaliate by destroying it. Like those were the chain of events instead of him taking his own wings, destroying Burka, which he basically denounced where he came from and then destroyed where he came from, which in my head doesn't make as much sense as it being an act of retribution for then taking his wings to him destroying it and then moving on with his life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also my whole point is I feel he tried to replace it. Also, Uruj, I'm a Parallel King around here. Uruj was introduced in an island filled with humans with a giant ecosystem. Would it make sense that Uruj is found on an island where humans are, but it is that is human size, but giants live in there? ELBAF.
Yeah.
You have the parallel with the islands as well, so I can see ELBAF definitely being the place where he's introduced.
Well, I don't know why, but for some reason it makes thematic sense because especially his devil fruit is all about getting bigger as well. The more he gets damaged, the bigger he gets.
It's
revenge.
It's actually, if you think about
punishment, I think is what they call it.
Karmic Punisher?
No, karmic punishment is I think what they called it in the or not Viz, but the
the anime.
The anime. Yeah. Toei version, I guess.
Yeah, and think about it. If there's a place where they believe in the sun god, which is ELBAF, would it make sense that it would be a place where you introduce the supernova called the Mad Monk of all people? The most faith-based nickname of all the supernovas?
If my assumption of Burka being close to the High West and the High West being connected to ELBAF,
I mean, do you know what's the closest thing to ELBAF?
Well, hold on. If my assumptions of that... Oh, man, I had something fucking spicy and I just fucking spaced it. Brain fart.
Don't worry. I'm going to say something very quickly. It's 2 seconds. You can interrupt me in case you remember it at that exact moment. Closest place to Lodestar and ELBAF in every map is what? Reverse Mountain. What is Reverse Mountain? A mountain. What's another name for a mountain? The summit. And that location of the Reverse Mountain is literally the west part of the world.
You brought up the sun god, right? Rouge, being the Mad Monk and stuff. Would it not make sense if the proximity of Burka and ELBAF were close because of the High West? Would it not make sense that they also worship the sun god on Burka? maybe that's why Enel also had a reason to destroy Burka, because they're worshiping a god that is not him.
Exactly. I can see that, yeah. But yeah, Summit of High West has to be there. I think it's either the entrance is either ELBAF, Lodestar, or it's literally Reverse Mountain from that side. Western part of the Reverse Mountain. And it's a summit. The Summit of High West.
Yeah.
So, maybe, that's like... This also would explain how some people just don't need to go back for the rest of the New World and they could just come back to the Four Blues. They go for the Summit of High West, They fall back into Reverse Mountain and fall into one of the blues, Four Blues. In that way.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be a way to go around Reverse Mountain.
Yeah, but basically ELBAF and Lodestar with that logic, and if I could drop the panel, look at the indent, the same indent that we see in every port in One Piece. And it's in every images of what's it called. It's in every images of One Piece maps. There's an indent in that side of the Reverse Mountain. No other places. On that what's called, on that mountain it has it.
Yeah.
So wait, let me look. It's called. But yeah.
Well, Cubes, finding that panel, like and subscribe.
Okay. I dropped the best map for it. If you zoom in on the obviously between for obviously people, for everyone who wants to follow their own map. Wait, the map is downloading. The map is downloading. The map is downloading. The map is downloading. Tell me that you arrived. Okay, it's here. For anyone who wants to see themselves, it's between in the New World. It's between the North Blue and the West Blue. Look at the Reverse Mountain on that western point. Look at that indent between near ELBAF and Lodestar. It's in every map that Oda has done in the Reverse Mountain. There's this weird indent, and it looks like a U. All the times islands who have that have a port, an entrance or something. Why does Reverse Mountain have that image? Maybe it's an interest or something. Summit of High West.
Ooh, I like that.
No.
I think
it's interesting.
I think it just makes sense thematically with Norse mythology that the thing that Zelda's going to start tying stuff together. It's the second arc of the final saga, right? It makes sense that he would start tying those things, the things we haven't seen yet, together. The Summit of High West and all that. And it makes sense with the Norse mythology of the Bifrost that we're going to see that.
What if that's where the Lunarians reside, the remaining Lunarians? Because I don't think King is the only surviving Lunarians. How could someone, where they said that it's been hundreds of years since the Lunarians have been wiped out, right? How is he still a full-blooded Lunarian, It could explain that they're in that part of the New World, in the Sky Islands.
Look how many realms there are. Maybe mushroom people are there too, man. Look how many realms there are to Yggdrasil. Maybe the different islands. I said in my video, that I think Tantatas are going to be living on one of the islands. Niveldelir or whatever it is. Niveldelir. It has like two names, man. One was like Svartalfheim or something. But anyway, I said that Tantatas would be living there. It makes sense that if there are 9 realms to ELBAF, like 9 different islands within ELBAF, whether they be going up the Yggdrasil tree or branching out from the roots into like a different archipelago of islands, like it.
And wait. And dude, you just blew my mind, because remember what Dorian Broggy said? We never questioned it. When they saw the Gorosei, and they said, "Oh, they must be immortals." If you think about it, they kind of went through all the races. Like, they know every race. What if ELBAF is the opposite of Marijoa?
Every race
until Loki until Loki came over and took control of it. This is gonna explain Mother Caramel. What if it's not just resources? It's literally a jackpot for Celestial Dragons.
And not only that, what if it's
a safe haven?
It's a safe haven. Listen, hear me out too. What if that's why it's the war-torn place of ELBAF? Because Loki took over, and the other races don't respect Loki.
And think about it. Yeah, and Big Mom said that she wants to create an utopia, and the only is possible. She needs to have a foothold in ELBAF. She wasn't talking about the islands or the giants. She was talking about the races in there. By becoming if ELBAF is under her wing, so is all those other races.
Yeah.
And
I think so too.
this go
for
explain.
3-day. I
Yeah.
think it's big enough to either go up there. It's just in my mind the way I picture it. I think it's like ELBAF would be Midgard with like the mountains and stuff and the big tree going up, and there'll be like 3 or 4 islands going up, and then roots will be coming out of the bottom of ELBAF, and those will attach like the other 5 islands that are supposed to be beneath Yggdrasil on its roots into ELBAF's like island system. Sorry. Go ahead, Cube. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say this has to be what Big Mom was referring to. Why ELBAF would make her achieve her dreams? Because all the slave. Remember, she's one of the Lunarians. So he said, "King, do you want to join me?" When he said no, so okay, meaning that she still had options. Maybe ELBAF is the option.
I think you're right.
No?
I think we're on to something here. I really do. This
It's
is
a
some
safe
spicy
haven.
stuff.
It has to be. It has to be a safe haven for them. Just Loki has been using it. This explains why during Bragi, we're so shocked. We've never seen an immortal. It would make sense if they live in a place where they see every type of race existing, and they say we've seen everything in this world. We've never seen an immortal.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. They're shocked at this instance.
Well, think about with the sheep's house. We didn't see other races, but we know that Mother Caramel herself had recruited John Giant to the Marines through her connections. We also know that she was just kidnapping kids to sell there to the Marines or to Cypherpole, whichever route she was ended up taking because of that. There had to have been any kind for her to pick from, essentially.
Yeah. That's very spicy, actually. Never thought
It
of
is.
you know.
It with the connection with Big Mom saying it, I think we just kind of figured something out there. I don't know if it's 100% exactly what it'll be, but like the idea of the different realms, the way the Norse mythology ties in, guys, that's a big cook. That is a huge implication for the story, and I think it's a correct one. Like especially with the races we haven't seen any of, but we've or like only seen one of. Maybe that's where long-nosed tribes is. You know what I mean? Like if there is a long-nosed tribe or a red-nosed tribe, like it could be ELBAF.
I can see ELBAF, and this will explain Lunarians. Big Mom not being that upset. Like, if think about it, compared to NoChillDill, she was more upset with the Loki things, and King saying no, meaning that most likely going to ELBAF would remedy to that. Like, where are the Lunarians? Maybe they're in that part of the world.
Yeah.
This explains why they were trying to keep King in that regards. You know.
Yeah, and
So to be fair, her connection that she was trying to have through Loki was only possible because of Lola. She knew that she was already trying to think of like the best word for it, but she was already essentially put on a blacklist of ELBAF because of her attacking Jarul or Jarul, whichever one of the two. I can never remember, but she's essentially put on a blacklist. So the fact that she had a child that was able to bridge that gap to ELBAF was why she was upset at the fact that Lola was like, no, I'm not going to, is because that ruined her only connection to it. So I do see it being along the lines of, oh, well, I could just find another Lunarian, even though we have no basis for that assumption from her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
this is spicy, boys. I'm kind of flabbergasted at the moment. I'm sorry. But no, it like because think of the Yeti Cool brothers, right? And I said this before, like Jotunheim, which is like the land of the frost giants in Marvel's take on Norse mythology, but there are also like it's a frozen wasteland. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't the race that the Yeti Cool brothers come from be from there? Why that makes so much sense. So to think that the other like where were the Lunarians? Like now I'm thinking like which race would go where? Like what? This is spicy, boys.
Yeah, like I said, because and don't you find it logical is that the way the Lunarians escaped, if they escaped, they didn't go down because that's where the sense of dragon would have come from, right? Most likely. Mm-hmm. From the way they're describing the 20 kings coming from different parts of the land, right? The islands are on land, on water, not in the sky. Would it make sense that them who can create fire like King that is almost as hot as magma. So they found a way to send themselves to Skylands. And then traveled the other side of the world to make a home for themselves, just like people in Wano.
Yeah.
Made themselves their home closer to ELBAF, close to Summit of High West. That's why we haven't got any hints of it. Because remember, Jaya is even before the Red Line.
Ooh.
You know? We didn't see any
Yeah.
Lunarians back then, so they cannot be backwards, they have to be forward.
I think you're right. It's because if they go down, that's where the humans are, right?
Yeah.
And going up, and then like if this ties back into the like this fits a lot of stuff because then this goes back into the High West, which means that's how they got to ELBAF. Oh, I think we're on to something here, guys. I really do.
And imagine for Emu, this is basically Emu, the Gors and Emus getting the hands of all those races, those Celestial Dragon. What if this is, like we've got, this is my European Empire. What if this is their journey to the west, literally? Getting to ELBAF.
I can see it.
They go to literally getting the jackpot they need, the resources, the people they need, the specific races. Oh yeah, I can see that definitely. Which this then makes me think, I'm thinking, on some stuff. This tells me that. Oh, sorry, I misread what 3 days said. I thought she said not the journey to the west, as oh no, nor the journey to the west. This also makes me think of. I've been saying it. It's in my script as well, on the Nami script. Forget about Pluton. Forget about Poseidon. We're getting Uranus. This is Uranus. I'm telling you. I can feel it in my lungs.
Uranus.
Yeah. What's wrong, man?
I hate your pronunciation of that word.
Well, this shows your celestial dragon in you. But okay. Speaking French, we'll have a laugh.
No, I don't hate everything about you as a celestial dragon would, which you have a lot of experience with. I just hate the way you pronounce the word.
Okay, let me do a better one. Your anus. You prefer that?
Yes.
Well,
No, but
my devil fruit.
yeah, but for me, it does make you think that we're good. I've been hitting on that with my script of the Nami one, which when you guys will see what we be cooking with Lucas and me about this one, you'll say, oh shit, yeah, I see why Kube was talking about it.
Yeah, I think Uranus is definitely gonna make an appearance in ELBAF. It's the only place it could be besides ELBAF is with the world government, but like we've said before, I think what the world government has is something else. There's 4 gods, 4 ancient weapons makes sense. Like it.
Also, this is my big thing. The reason why I don't believe as the world government have it is, why does Oda have to, when they talk about that, we know that the ancient weapon they used wasn't Poseidon and wasn't Pluton. Why not just say the name? The reason why Oda does that is for our benefit. Everything he's writing. The fact he doesn't even name it tells me it's another ancient weapon. Like, we found out, there's only 3 Delphi type. Well, actually, there's also ancient Zoans and also mythical Zoans. We keep getting extra stuff all the time, So it wouldn't be a big shock that there's more than 3 ancient weapons.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to say the least, if I'm being honest.
I mean, we've always had the general debate in the community because the Roman gods' names, I think, is what it boils down to, and then we also have the rest of the Gorosei names, which are also Roman god names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you also have the fact that it's interesting. Even though Pluto is the Roman version of Hades, right? Uranus and Poseidon is Greek. But what is the counterpart of Poseidon's name? Is Neptune, which is actually Poseidon, Shiroshi, who's Poseidon's father, who is now world government affiliated. So yeah, there's definitely the spectrum between Greek and Roman.
Yeah. It's just with those 3 ancient weapons, and then the 5 Gorosei makes the 8 planets of the solar system outside of one left being Gaia, aka Ymir. No,
Yeah.
no, Ymir was the first giant.
Yeah, and if you also take certain people's name, like the Oni name, if you reverse it backwards, it becomes a Greek deity. She is the daughter of. She's a princess, and she is the daughter of. They're called the White Goddess, and also the Queen of the Sea. And her father was considered to be the Slayer of Dragons, which is very interesting in One Piece. That's the opposite of Oni Ino.
Yeah, so Ymir's body was used to build Midgard, the realm of the humans, which is aligned with Mother Earth, Gaia, all of those storylines.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was tangential.
No, I was
Tangential?
reading something about Fenrir, the giant wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, I think this arc we will know. We will know more about this whole Roman and Greek. And there's something I've been thinking about. I think we might get soon some, because he's done some Napoleon themes, right? A lot of like those conqueror type of people. Wouldn't it make sense that some of the parallels we're gonna get soon in the story about people from the past might be like Alexander the Great? The Library of O'Hara, where is it? In ELBAF. What was Alexander the Great known for? The Library of Alexander. That was, I think in Egypt or something like that. That got buried in. It would make sense that we might get some inspiration of Alexander the Great. We just got Genghis Khan.
Well, the Library of Alexandria had nothing to do with Alexander the Great.
There was not a loose connection or not?
It did get burned down and lost to time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. To O'Hara. But
yeah, O'Hara.
I agree with what Lucas says. It has no relation to Alexander the Great. It was
Okay, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see
around the same time.
Yeah, thematic elements of like Greek heroes like that. Well, I don't want to say Greek, but like old world heroes like that, like Alexander the Great. Maybe Big Mom is a play on Catherine the Great.
Yeah.
She did the Soviet Union. What?
Would you say Roger would be Odysseus? Or is Luffy?
Honestly, makes me more Luffy.
Yeah,
Luffy. I would say even more better. I think it's more Usopp than Luffy, if you think about it. The way he left with Kaya is similar to how Oedipus left his homeland, leaving a good wife behind him, taking care of the people, hoping for a great return, And it does seem that Usopp seems angering god figures every time, just like Oedipus.
So it would be safe to assume that Usopp could get a slingshot that nobody else could pull back in history, but he picks it up and pulls it back like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Because that was what Odysseus's wife left as a challenge. She said, I will marry the one suitor who can draw this bow. The bow was made with Odysseus's strength in mind, knowing that he was the only one that could draw it. And that's how he proved himself whenever he came back, was he was able to draw the bow. And his wife was immediately like, I'll marry you. And then he revealed to her later on that he was actually Odysseus.
Yeah. So yeah, it does make sense.
I'm sorry.
No one lie.
I'm reading stuff. That's my bad.
Putting faith outside
you're
of
in
it.
the deep dive. It's okay. I know how rabbit holes go.
Yeah, dude.
And I won't lie, when it comes to Luffy, compared to Odysseus, who I still feel like is more Usopp, Luffy seems to hit a lot of the marks of the Jesus lore, the type of Messiah of stuff like that,
Yeah.
Which it could also be because Nika is based on, there must be a loose connection to Nika, but I always felt like Luffy is more that thing, the way people just want to follow him despite him,
Yeah. And that actually goes into like the way that Luffy leads. He leads and he doesn't want people to follow him, right? Which Buggy's the opposite, just to note that right there. But Buggy is the opposite, you know what I mean? And but Luffy, it's the perfect example of like what a Messiah is supposed to be, like someone who doesn't want to lead, but everyone believes in them, kind of thing.
I mean, I won't lie. If you think about it, Luffy just has the Messiah trope of a lot of them. There's also some Moses with Luffy in Alabasta.
Yeah. You're right. So, boys, give it to me straight. What's the rundown for ELBAF? What are we thinking? Who's the big villain? Is Shiki coming back?
The big villain?
Yeah, like
no,
what's up?
the big villain. The big villain is religion.
Religion?
Hot take. I know.
Like the thematic villain of ELBAF is religion?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Like that's the big villain too, is because in the last chapter we have the statements that there is a sun god, but we know that not all giants believe that to be true because Dory and Broggy believe that Luffy is the sun god.
Yeah.
So there has to be the overarching, hey, this person has been ruling either by fear or by illusion that they are the sun god, but we know that that's not true. So we have to watch as all of this breaks down through the Straw Hats being there finally to be like, hey, that person that y'all all think is the right guy, that he's not that guy, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't lie. I think Dill hit the nail right on it, and I think I'll go first. I think it'll be similar to Dome Island, which we all know that if they really want to fight off, especially Dalton, they would have defeated Wapol before he did his thing long time ago. But they kind of hinted to it. They just, they want to go against their own king, and then he took too much power. I think it's going to be a fight of shining a light in the darkness in the minds of the people of ELBAF.
Also, another thing too is Dalton served Wapol's dad while he was king. Knew that Wapol would not be a good king, but still let Wapol take the throne because that was his birthright. Like he could not deny the fact that Wapol was his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally bestowed upon him that he would be the one to rule.
What if when Loki became king, his father, the previous king, became the sun god figure? What if it's like each old king of ELBAF becomes the sun god to keep like the illusion alive? Because giants live for a long time, but they don't live forever. Like I personally, I think it's Loki that's imitating the sun god, but like,
yeah, that's what I would say is that it's more so that the ruler of ELBAF is the one to be known as the sun god, and it's more so of like a passing on the title in essence more than them actually more than them actually inheriting anything.
And the trope of Oda with kings like Wapol, or like the idea of Loki or Doflamingo, is they're like that because their fathers were too nice with them, to spoil them too much. They love their kingdom too much. It's a relevant theme throughout the whole story. Wapol's father was too lenient. Odin's father was too lenient. Doflamingo's father was too lenient. So it kind of makes me think that if Loki is the way he is, I think his father might have been a great king for the people of ELBAF. But then the ones who kind of sense it like Dalton let it slide until it was too late. He got the whole village to believe at him. And when it came to Dome Island, everyone was against them because they were pirates. So it could be that could be the real theme. The island itself is the enemy. They have to convince the island. They cannot use fist. The lesson learned in Dome Island.
It's religion, because how else do you beat down an ideal by other than convincing people that what they believe is wrong?
Yeah, but they're only replacing that ideal with the ideal that Luffy is the sun god. Even if he tells them not to follow it, we've seen how well that works.
I mean, it's not. It doesn't have to be Luffy convincing them. It could be the other giants that already see him as the sun god.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a real current theme in our world as well. When one religion is being dethroned, another one takes its place. Judaism takes
Exactly.
a lesser role. Christianity comes up. Catholic takes a lesser role.
And-
What's the name? Protestantism. I forgot the
Dude.
name in English. No,
Yeah, I know.
so
I know who you're talking about, though. But what I was going to say is, we see. This is exactly what Smokey said earlier. It's Ragnarok, guys. The death of the gods.
Yeah.
They've already killed one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's Asgard. I think we're on Asgard completely. Like, it's the land of the gods. Like, it's Asgard.
Yeah, I'm very curious on where the hell is that Adam tree?
I think
Dude.
it is the Adam tree. I think the Yggdrasil is the Adam tree. It would make sense that it's known as the
Yeah.
Adam tree worldwide and not Yggdrasil, because that's a very spiritual thing specific to their culture. And the reason it could be so expensive is because it's dangerous to get. You have to go to ELBAF. You have to get there through the New World, and then you have to take it from Yggdrasil without the giants seeing you take it.
You know what this makes me think of? If that's the case, I want to know the names for the Tree of Knowledge and the Eve Tree. Because they made
What
it
was that?
very thing that that's their only name. I would like to know the real name, the other names for the. Because if it is that for the Adam Tree, what if the Eve Tree and the Adam tree and the Tree of Knowledge go by another name as well?
Mm.
And maybe hearing the other name would, like, imagine if we never heard of Adam Tree, we kept hearing Yggdrasil. People make foreshadowing of Vikings 15 years ago.
Exactly.
What's the same with the Eve Tree and the Tree of Knowledge? They have specific names,
Yeah.
Other names, real life inspirations.
Real
that
life
could have,
inspirations.
Spoiled certain stuff,
Well, the Eve tree, I think that's where devil fruits, like, if they do grow on a tree initially, like when they first come to light, I think that's where they grow. Like, that just makes too much sense. Eve and
I
the
think it's
tree
like-
and the fruit, like,
I wouldn't
way
mind.
too
I
much
think all three of them have a connection. I think they use the sap of all three of them to create the at least therefore connect to those three fruits, because one, the Paramecia seems to be more mental or human based, Tree of Knowledge.
yeah.
Logia's Eve tree, how it affects its environment, and then Zoans, you become physically stronger. Adam wood is one of the strongest substances in this world. Kind of makes you think all three trees have a hand in the creation of devil fruits, or they're connected. Maybe back then they only grew on those trees when they were all connected, but then the time changed and they adapted.
Yeah. I mean, in 3-Day in the chat just said, if the 9 realms, maybe there's a different tree in each realm.
Yeah, maybe
if it's
3
all-
trees.
Maybe 3 trees. Yeah. Maybe there's 3 trees growing out of Yggdrasil. Maybe there's the big one, and then there's like smaller ones. Like Knack had said the other day when we were all in VC, it's like branches coming off.
Yeah, and I do find it very interesting how the Tree of Knowledge, the Adam tree, and the Eve tree, they all make a triangle in the world of One Piece because of their
Mhm.
location.
Yeah.
Man, this is very spicy. I won't lie. And so, with that, okay, if you guys can choose one character that can't wait for the return because you feel like that person's gonna make his return in this arc in ELBAF, which character are you
I
most
want to see
excited for?
Shiki. I've only watched canon things with Shiki, so I know nothing about Shiki. I've not watched the movie because I was like, you know what?
Watch it.
The final saga just started, right? So I was like, you know what? I want to wait. I'll wait until he's introduced into the story because everyone believes he's coming back sooner than later. And I'm like, yeah, what's 2 or 3 years of waiting for this character when other people have waited for years and years and years? But now it's just killing me. I need to just watch the movie.
Honestly, you should watch the movie, especially if you do content. It will help you with some of the theme stuff, But I won't lie, because I think she's gonna be the game changer in this arc. I can't wait for the return of Vivi, and I'm foreshadowing this. There's going to be a mention of Roger pretty soon. in
I
this arc.
guarantee it. I guarantee
Like I did
it.
with Clover. Yeah, because of Korea. Because that would be the power to Korea. Talking about Roger.
So you think that Drum Island's going to mirror ELBAF?
There's going to be, I don't think the storyline, I think it's the themes introduced there. Inherited
Yeah.
wills, the will of D, because I do want to make the Hiluk talked about the inherited will, but Correa is the one who mentioned the will of D in some of those theme stuff. I think it's some of those, Oda put some breadcrumbs on what he wanted to do for ELBAF and use those islands. So yeah, I can see something like that. And
I can
the
too.
fact that the rum island and this arc started with alcohol, you can't make that shit up.
No, yeah. And not only
It's
that,
also-
the mountains, like the mountains being such a prevalent feature at the base of ELBAF, like
Yeah.
it looks like every shot we've seen of ELBAF, it looks like obviously we've seen a port, so there is a port, but it looks like it's kind of walled in by those mountains.
Mhm.
Were you gonna say
That's,
something?
No.
that
He
was-
said no.
that was harsh, dude. He just said nah.
Nah.
No, I legit wasn't about to say anything. That's why I said it like that.
Dude, you sounded like a new version of Josh, a satellite of Josh. American Josh.
No.
So no,
No.
it's nah.
Nah.
But yeah.
Canadian Josh would be like, sorry, no.
Okay, so now I have a game for you guys.
Okay.
And it's true that you don't have to unmute, you can put it in the chat. But instead of predicting some of the stuff in the chat we already talked about, what are your predictions for the cover story with what we've got? This could be fun to see
Like, so
who's gonna be the closest.
We talked. Are we talking like next cover story? Like the next?
Yeah,
exact picture?
no. The Yamato one. What do you think? What are gonna be some of the things that they might be addressing the next ones in the cover story for Yamato? We're soon at the end of it. If you look at the number we had.
Yeah. What if it's? During the stream, at the beginning of the stream, I had said that I think it's the world government taking them and stuff like that. What if it's Queen? What if it's he's just like taking people to experiment on, get the old mad scientist blood going again? Could be. We do not know where the Topiropi are either. Topiropi?
Topiropo.
Topiropo. Thank you.
The dopey faction of the Kaido's crew. Yeah, I remember them. The Tobiropi.
The Topiropi. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's most likely, in my opinion, it's the world government taking people, and I think the conclusion of that will be Yamato getting on a cross-guild ship to go find Luffy.
The fight, Luffy.
To go find
Yeah.
Luffy. Yeah, he's gonna go
Oh,
box Luffy. Listen, I'd let
That's what I thought you said.
I'd let Yamato box me, bro. I'd let him do anything. I'm just gonna grow up.
So my prediction is going to be very similar to what we got with the whole cake one. I think we're gonna get a hint of something happening. Because I'll say this, cross guild or not, Yamato will go with someone. So it's cross guild law or whatever, whoever it could be. Because when it comes to Yamato, you have to take into account that there's two characters you have to parallel Yamato. Robin in Alabasta, because of a lot of themes of how she's very similar to Robin in Alabasta, but decides not to go. And you also have Odin. So the Odin one makes sense with cross guild. My thing is that I don't think Yamato will leave unless Momo gives the order for her to leave. In their thing, because of being that thing. Because I think they're supposed to be the better version of Odin, and I don't think that them being to the port of Odin. I think that it has to be a joint decision. Like Yamato being told by Momo, I can't leave Wano, and something bad has happened. I need you to go find Luffy.
Yeah.
Or I need you to do this. And then when Yamato meets Luffy, Momo needs your help for something. But then with where the story is going, Yamato will then decide to, we first do this, then we'll go. It's not gonna be like Momo is at risk, but more like Momo feel like Luffy's in danger, or Luffy needs Yamato.
Yeah.
There's something missing, That's the only way I
like
could see
that.
it. Yeah.
3 Day said in the chat that she thinks it's going to end with Pluton being revealed, maybe. Or with Blackbeard trying to get it. I like the idea of us finding out. I'm so unsure if they're going to give us a Blackbeard, like 2 Blackbeard cover stories in a row. But I love the idea of a Pluton reveal. Because it would be real, he could do it real subtle. You know what I mean? Like no one expecting it at all. And then the next cover page out of nowhere, it's just Yamato staring at Pluton.
You said something about the government taking people. What if they had actually sent spies into Wano to find Pluton? It might be them that's actually trying to get it, and we get the reveal when they find the missing people.
Ooh.
Maybe those missing people actually saw the government spies that were infiltrating, and they got rid of them or kidnapped them to keep them from releasing the news that they were there.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, but I do like the Beast Pirates because think about this, right? What is the best way for even if Yamato leaves, Wano will still be in danger, right? What if in the storyline it might be the Beast Pirates, and how it ends is basically Yamato being an unofficial Straw Hat, putting them into servitude for Wano, like type of Luffy way. Get beat up, be humbled, and then they're graced by the Wano Shogun, similar to how Orochi was graced by Oden's father, even though he found out about his last name.
Yeah.
So it could also be that, And if the Beast Pirates are going to follow someone, wouldn't they follow the son of Kaido? If he gives an order, maybe? If they recognize him as their leader?
Well, they'd have to listen to him because Yamato would beat them up.
That's what I was about to
Yeah,
say.
exactly.
That's exactly what I was about to say. 3 Day.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, Yamato would have to beat him into submission. I won't say anything. I'll Dill knew where I was about to go. But yeah, it's interesting to think about, especially with the Beast Pirates. I've never considered Yamato being able to take the crew from Kaido now that he's gone.
Yeah, because they need some sort of defense. And I'm sorry, the 9 Scarabs won't cut it. But having the Beast Pirates with them, the remaining Beast Pirates, who are actually loyal to people of Wano, basically, your pendants is to make it right for the last 20 years.
Not only that, but think about how many of the Beast Pirates choppers saved their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And no. First, that and you ready for this? In which arc or which island did the king take hostile people who did bad things, who were considered to be murderers, and made them as the guard of the kingdom? Dressrosa.
Yeah.
The gladiators.
Yep.
Kyros and some of the gladiators were mentioned to be some of them criminals made into gladiators, and they were proud to fight for their king. To be similar.
Yeah. I think so as well. That's
just
spicy.
like at Fishman Island, how they took all the people from that district, then had them protect the kingdom, I think they said.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, yeah. So, because I do, so someone did bring up. I told Lucas about it. They think that person running could have been a female connected to Black Maria. And interesting enough, Black Maria was obsessed and Queen as well, having all those women around them. Because what was it again? What's the term? Brothel. Brothel.
Yes. Guys, 2 streams in a row that Kube has brought up brothel. It's a record.
Yeah, I did not know that was the English word for it.
I knew that earlier though, and the Black Maria stuff made me think of the time when she tried to control Robin, and that made me think of the ruins magic again. She used something, and that weird staff she had too.
Oh yeah, with the face on it.
Yes.
Was that a devil?
And she was like trying to hypnotize Robin or something with some kind of symbol, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm thinking, was her staff a devil fruit? Not to get off topic.
I don't think so. I can check it up right now.
It was weird.
What did you say, Dill?
Whose staff?
Black
Maria.
I don't think so. I think it was I think it was a smile.
Wait. I'm on the wiki.
A smile with a human face is terrifying.
Yeah, it's a pug smile user who runs on the inside of a cart with generating flames, apparently.
Yeah, it's one of the gifters.
Yeah, he's that. Oh, dude, he's a person. Dude, crazy. I thought it was an actual weapon. No, it's a person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It says
He
it's
has
a gifter.
Pug smile devil fruit that transformed his entire body into that of a pug. And
Yeah.
Yo, all right, so I'm gonna read this excerpt from it. Due to his small dog body, he can run along the hamster wheel-like mechanism in stealth in Black Maria's polearm, allowing him to generate fire around himself and increase the destructive power of Black Maria's swings.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
He's
So
just
bro
a dude
runs around
chilling.
on a hamster. Yeah, so bro just runs around on a hamster wheel, generating friction.
Yeah, dude, that is crazy. Because even the wiki they say is a gifter. It's gonna say grifter.
Yeah,
Also, but
his name is
Yeah,
Juan
he's probably a
Yodu.
grifter as well.
Which is weird because Yodu is like the name of like yokais have Yodu in their name.
yeah. Yeah, it could be that. There could be something close to that because, like I said, there are some similar themes to Robin and Alabasta, with what's called with Yamato and Wano.
Can you
being
elaborate on that
this
a
is
little
cool.
bit? I'm not being rude, I promise. I don't see the similarities you're seeing.
So both.
All right, I wasn't going to talk about cubes. Just you can go ahead. My bad.
Okay, so if you look at closely to Kaido and Crocodile, they kind of refer themselves in opposite direction. One is seen as a hero. One is known to what he does. Both of them are doing the same thing, pushing the resource of a country. One wants a civil war. One did fought in the civil war to win. One wants to reach Laftel, become Pirate King, but only that he has underneath him is Pluton. One doesn't care about anything else, even this made fun of but mocked Luffy's dream, and was only focused on Pluton. And both of them had a person that basically Robin was supposed to be is the right hand person of Kaido, while Kaido was trying to leave everything for Yamato. But both decided to switch everything for Luffy. And if you look at Robin, was in the poneglyph stuff, while Yamato had that change of heart when she heard about Luffy's dream. One wanted to join and then chose not to join. One just merely asked for Sabin to leave and decides to go. In that regard, there's some similar stuff. So I said that, like, there's some similar themes between the Yamato and Kaido with Crocodile and Robin. And in similar ways, there were two people that we expected, or two candidates to join the Straw Hats, either Carrot or either Yamato or either Momo. Similar in Alabasta, you had Vivi and Robin. Vivi was expecting one, but Vivi stays behind, but Robin is the one who goes. Momo decides to stay behind, and the same message, instead of Luffy saying goodbye in Alabasta, he actually says goodbye to Momo and Wano. There's some interesting themes between Wano and Alabasta, that's why. So you get it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
crazy.
get it. Yeah, no, you're not crazy. I didn't think you were. Like I said, I just didn't see it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That is interesting. What were you going to say, Dill?
All right, so
Yeah.
what I had laughed about was the trivia section of One Yodu. One Yodu is based off of on a yokai of the same name, which is often depicted as a disembodied head of a monk stuck inside a flaming ox cart wheel. Due to his pug smile, his name is also likely a pun, as the Japanese onomatopoeia for a dog's bark is wan. Because of his smile ability, One Yodu is also a reference to the yokai Jiminkin, a human-faced dog, which he is referred to as by Brook.
Listen, are you telling me that Black Maria's staff foreshadowed the Gorosei being yokai?
No, because yokai were a prevalent and way before that, and even all throughout Wano they were as well.
Oh no, I'm just
like on Yodu. Yeah, I know that you were fucking around. It's just for those on stream that thought that potentially was where I was going. It wasn't. It's just the fact that he has the same name as what he is depicted as his yokai form, quote unquote.
Dude, all I got from that is the real name of the One Piece is One Piece. It means the One Piece is some form of dog. Good to know.
It's the piece of the dog's bark. Yep, you're right, Cube.
It's the bark that you make along the way.
Lucas cooked in the
So
wrong
Yamato is
kitchen
the hero
3 days.
then.
Ooh, that's Brandon King said the atom tree is revealed to be the atom tree, which can make make anything. Dude, I'm not wondering, what if the 3 trees have to be used together to create something close to, nuclear weapon type of level?
Ooh.
Oh, so what
Deja-
they're saying is that if they feed the Sunny a devil fruit, we get the true amalgamation of Frankie's dream of building a ship that would cross the seas and live to tell the tale.
Dude,
Well,
that kind of just blew my mind. He muted himself after the guys. He just did a mic drop on us. Like that
or
makes
just his dogs were about to bark.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, that was spicy, dude. The idea, like,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say though, Cube?
No, I just said yeah, because if the Adam tree has this interesting component, right? Such as the Eve tree, we don't know about the tree of knowledge, but for some reason, Clover made his base of operation over there, and the one thing they made sure to is destroy the tree.
Yep.
What if there's something about what if those material, those trees? What happens if you merge it with something else? It's true. I never thought of that.
Could be a piece of puzzle, yeah.
Yeah, bro, it's Frankie's dream, man.
Yeah.
Call back to an old Dire Regulus theory is that devil fruits are people.
Yeah.
Does that mean
Yeah.
Frankie wants a human ship?
I mean, in his bad timeline, he makes himself his ship because his ship can't talk.
And to his
Oh, you are speaking poneglyph, brother.
oh, give me like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. All right, I should be better now. So it also ties into the fact that his bounty poster has him as the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah. I'm gonna add something that what Will just said. Tree of knowledge, the top of the tree, the sun tree Eve, the roots of the tree, the Adam tree, the base. Which
That's
is interesting.
awesome.
Yeah. Ooh, Sudena have countering agendas. That's cool.
Oh, what are they?
She said the top of the tree is where Emerald City is. And my whole thing is I believe the reason that the Emerald City is just another word to describe that big island that Laftel's located on.
Yeah.
Where that Emerald City used to be connected to that place.
Yeah.
That's why he put it next to Shandor and
3 day.
Yeah. But I like that as well.
I think we're
But
on the top of the tree right now. Where we're at is the top of
me
the
too.
tree.
I would agree as well.
Asgard. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's Asgard. It's got to be Asgard, home of the gods. Like TM.
They keep showing they keep showing more the sky of the castles and the ground of the castle every time. It's always from up.
Yeah.
Like I've wondered, what if at some angles you see like clouds on the outside?
Mhm.
They're that high up. Even the castle, when they showed it, they didn't show like the whole island. They zoomed in on just the location of Bingstein Castle. So yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed to be elevated too, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And that makes me think that that's what actually made me think initially is like how like the castle seemed to be kind of lifted onto a higher point. Like that's what made me think like even more so like this is just a place for pets because cat tree, you know what I mean? Like the cats will climb up a tree and they like have the little house on top and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brandon King in the chat said Emerald City used to be Irumalu on Alabasta. Alabasta was formerly a lush green forest.
Yeah. But for me, yeah, I do think there's a connection, but Oda did make his best that there are two separate things. Because someone did ask that question. But I do think they used to be connected to the same place. That's why there's a lack of water.
I mean, it could be.
Romelu
Yeah, like a
or
long time ago.
Ronaldo,
Yeah,
depending on pronunciations. But yeah,
yeah.
it was Emerald City.
Yeah, and I think all of that used to be all connected. I also believe Greenbit used to be part of that whole thing as well. That's what they described
Also,
about like
the greatest navigator of all time does have a theory on that. And no, I'm not talking about Swan. I'm talking about 3-Day Swan.
Oh, that was very squeaky.
It was the Swedish one. You gotta hit it.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Dill knows what's up. All right. I have said what I need to say about ELBAF. I feel like. How are you boys feeling? We want to give final thoughts before we round it down.
All right. So, in the next 10 chapters, we are going to see the fall of a god. And I'm not talking about the ear god. Talking about the religion.
The dramatic pauses were crazy, dude.
Yeah, they were. They made it tense
I'm
though.
a dramatic pause you.
Cube, what about you, brother?
I'm honestly very focused on the special. I've been talking about the amount of straw hats there are.
Yeah.
Those 6 ones. I'm more focused on Usopp, Nami, and Chopper right now, and knowing their fate, because I think this could be the arc where we won't have people calling retcon or Oda using plot armor for them to survive. I think he's gonna make us, and again, a small incision storyline doesn't need to be like 50 chapters for it. It could be as 5 or 10 chapters, which is destroy their moniker of Cowardly Trio. Because, dude, if those 3 can have the courage to do what they want to do, like the others, dude, the Straw Hats would win so much easy.
Yeah, exactly. It brings them up to the level of the rest of the crew almost.
Exactly, yeah.
3-Day, what about you, hun?
I think it's going to be like the beginning of One Piece. We're going to get back to adventures. Real, just the best adventures of the Straw Hats.
Yes.
ELBAF will be beautiful. We need that. We need to get back to it.
Yeah, I have that feeling right now with this new arc, and I know I've only read 2 chapters of it, but like it feels like Little Garden did, like Skypiea did. It's
adventures in the land of the giants.
Exactly, a big land, big adventure. I'm very, very, very excited. I can't wait for that. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see the Nami and Usopp stuff. I'm excited to see what's going on with Loki. The fall of a god, as Dill says, I think that's going to happen too. The sun god's going to get taken out. Which one, Luffy or Loki? That's the question. The 2 L's. Both prophesized. But yes, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Anyone doing some promo? For me, you got to go watch Rambling Addiction this week. It's on the same exact topic like we were talking here today. What do you got for me, Cube?
So for those who were curious about the discussion I was having today, it's in my review with Knack. I'm about to drop the link. Dory's 3-Day. I'm about to pull a 3-Day on you. I'm a Cube Day trip today.
Cube Day trip.
Go check it out. There's also Lucas Ramble Addiction. You should go check it out. I'll try to get it so I can link it.
Cube's realizing how hard it is to be a mod.
Oh no, it's such an easy job. I think it's an easy job. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm about to get attacked by 3-Day and by DMs. What did you say? Sorry, I did try to do a South Southern accent. It didn't work.
It did not.
What did he say?
What did he say?
Oh Lord.
Oh, dude, Will almost broke the 2 messages. Will, you're very lucky. He dropped his message just actually.
Yes, so go.
All right, so unrelated to us finishing stream. TCB is rebranding, and there are currently 140 people in their One Piece VC.
Oh my god.
They're no longer TCB. They're the manga shelf. Shelf for shorthand. We are no longer related to any scanlation group. However, we will continue to post updates for current and new series. Don't know if that means that they're gonna be doing scanlations or not, but
I mean, is anyone shocked
No, not
with
at
the
all. But
site losing his the guy providing it? Because you kind of saw the link is the links are becoming slower and slower. They don't even have an actual name for it on it anymore.
yeah,
Whoever's paying for it, stop paying for it.
outside of that, they have been for the past, let's see, since the fall of the other scanlation groups, having increasingly more and more ads on the site, which goes to show that they are profiting off of the scanlations, just due through revenue through their site and all that. I think it's the downfall.
thanks as well. We could all be going to officials very soon, people. Which I don't have a
I
problem
won't
with.
lie. I don't have a problem myself. I won't lie. Gives me time to
Nah,
get some recording in during the week.
Exactly.
The spoiler community is like a phoenix. Whenever it dies, it sits and smolders in its ashes for a little bit, and then it's born again.
And then it's born again. Yeah, see-through day knows what's up. It unites the community more. Dexter said read Rawls. Not all of us are learning Japanese. Well, I mean, I think actually most of us here are studying or trying to learn Japanese. But nonetheless, not all of us have already started.
Dexter, because Google Translate is a thing, and if you have a newer Android phone, you can just translate straight from your phone without having to leave whatever you're reading it on.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thank everyone in chat for being here today. It was a great, great time. Thank my crew. We had the wonderful, wonderful historian and first mate, Kube of the Red Sea, the amazing vice captain and frontline combatant, NoChillDill, and of course, Miss 3-Day. Thank you so much for being here today. This lifted my spirits so much. I loved having you on today.
Don't forget about the rare appearance of Smokey.
Oh yeah, Smokey also was here. Yeah, we had quite a bit of the crew here today. But yes, 3-Day, especially you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, we're very happy that you were with us.
I was glad to be here finally. I hope that I'm back. I don't know that I'm fully back, but I hope I'm back.
Yeah, I won't lie. I did miss us finding ways to have similar agendas yet also different. I've missed that.
I have to deeply.
All right, guys, we're gonna close it here. Cube, you want to send us off?
Yes, see you all at the next sunrise.
Bye bye.